Conclusion. Sino-Japanese relation. Historical background. China. The Holocaust of Opium and Christianity. Japan. Militarism and Christianity onslaughts. Leadership. Japan learned from the West. China learned from Japan. China, along with Russia, was deceived by Karl Marx. America dropped 2 atomic bombs in Asia to scare all the Chinese to replace Japanese teachers with Americans. Those who were too late to make the switch were treated harshly as traitors. Yat-sen. The successors of Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, who, with a non-revolution, turned China into a lawless, governmentless living hell for 38 years. Chiang Kai-shek, Sun Yat-sen's successor, but a Japanese military officer. In retaliation for the Xi'an Incident, he slaughtered the Chinese by using the fabricated Nanking Massacre, the Yellow River Flood, and the Changsha Fire. He loved the Japanese and cheated the Americans. Wang Jingwei self-sacrificed himself to negotiate with Japan to rescue the Chinese people from being slaughtered by Chiang. Mao Zedong. During the day in the library, he started to find out how the Western games were played. At night, he hid in the bed, using a flashlight to read the Kung Fu novels just to find out the cardinal aspirations of the Chinese people. In fact, for real-world experiences, Mao tried a career as a beggar, possibly imagining someday becoming the head of the Beggars Guild. In the end, it was not the Beggars Guild, but the Peasant Liberation Army that helped Mao Zedong save China, North Korea, and Vietnam. Asianism advocate Ishihara Yoshiya. Asianism is the unity of the 3 countries of East Asia, namely China, Japan, and Korea, and together they shall resist the invasion of Western white power. Ishihara not only believed in Asianism, but also believed in Buddhism. He thought the contestants in the final war could be only the United States and the East Asian allies, centered around the Japanese emperor. The war will determine whether the Asian rule of culture or the Western bullying way can dominate the world. The main point of Ishihara's overall strategy was that in East Asia, the historical leader, China, was not no longer able to lead the yellow race in East Asia to defeat the white race. Therefore, Japan's historical mission now was to shoulder this responsibility in East Asia by becoming the leader of East Asia and lead East Asian countries in integrating its resources and finally make a decisive battle against the representatives of the West, the United States. Ishihara even tried to persuade the Japanese to give up Japanese citizenships and join the five-race United Manchu Guo. This is pretty much the core of Japan's Great East Asian strategy. Japanese Class A war criminal Kenji Doihara. Doihara worked hard in Beijing to study Chinese culture. Doihara was Japan's China old hand. He has read the Chinese classic novels Three Kingdoms and Outlaws of the Marsh, and could speak a variety of dialects. Therefore, he was familiar with Chinese national characteristics. Thus, he was a man of integrity and righteousness. Doihara was also known by people as a man of his words and always keep his commitment. When he was the mayor of Shenyang, his expenses in running the city were reimbursed out of his own pocket, and he was oblivious to repay the money from his salary month to month. As a result, Doihara could only live with his whole family for a long time in a small house with only 2 rooms. In addition, when Doihara interacted with people, their impression of him was usually affable, with the special rusticity of the native folks. Among many Chinese politicians with whom he came into contact, there was a saying that Doihara does not lie. Doihara and Liu Yan Xi'an, a powerful warlord, were classmates at Luda University. When Doihara returned to China, he shattered amidst the warlords, putting together the so-called Great Northern League against Chiang Kai-shek and Zhang Xueliang, who were on the side of America. Doihara put forward a plan to establish a Manchuria-Mongolian republic. Regarding the head of the new nation, he proposed the former Qing Xuandong Emperor Puyi. In October 1935, Doihara pushed for a northern China autonomous movement. However, the first on the list of war criminals submitted by the Chinese government to the International Military Tribunal for the Far East after the war was Doihara. How could such a self-sacrificing person become a war criminal? If he didn't die, Chiang Kai-shek's dirty laundries could not be kept secret. It is said that during the entire trial, the only remark made by Kenji Doihara was "no appeal." Now the secrets are safe. Chinese troops fear Doi Hara like lambs fear tigers. It is said that Chiang Kai-shek was very disgusted with Doi Hara, calling him a bandit, the same way he called Mao. And he was put at the top of the list of war criminals, being personally ordered by Chiang Kai-shek. Doi Hara was considered to be the father of so-called Han traitors. Conclusion. In the spirit of Ishihara's Great East Asian Strategy, Mao Zedong and Kenji Doi Hara sequentially and coincidentally achieved the mission impossible. That was the rescue of Asia from the West, airtight checkmate. Last words of the 7 Samurai. This is the YouTube video clip, Truth of Nanking, The Death of 7 Samurai, published December 13, 2015. The Great East Asian Conference was held in Tokyo in November 1943. This conference adopted resolutions proclaiming liberation and independence from the Western powers and abolishment of racism. Since the China Incident, Japan and China suffered a great deal of casualties, but it meant they were sacrificed in what should be called a justified war of Great Pan-Asian, in which they fought to win independence from the Western powers. All people in Asia should forget this time's hardship to join hands in the future. Pan-Asian people should acquire rights just like other people in the world, and should rather be proud of being non-white races. All Asians should respect the Indian judge of the Tokyo trial. His impartial judgment was Pan-Asian people's pride. If this war had paved the way for Pan-Asian people's right to life to be accepted by the world, we should all be gratified. The Western powers should cast off their ideas of exclusionism and move forward with a sense of co-prosperity. There are ones who express dissent on this matter. They are ungrateful for not knowing the value of air and soil. Somewhere in Asia, we must have someone who can see how the world changes. The Japanese generals were sentenced to death for crimes against peace. The ex post facto law, which were not included in the previous international laws and were established by the conquering nations after the war was over. On Chiang Kai-shek's government, the 3 O's policy was definitely conducted by the Chinese troops. We Japanese soldiers were alleged to have done kill all, burn all, and loot all activities, but residents have fled and houses were emptied. There was nothing left for us to loot. To America, killing outside the war are crimes. killing during the war are legal. We failed in resolving the China issue, but if our death could pave the way for better relationship, we'd be content. The spirit of over 2 million war dead are watching us. They are watching Japan's truth and pride. Buddha's teachings that go beyond life and death are shining in front of us, even though our lives should end very soon. Without a spiritual connection through common faith and culture, promoting goodwill between China and Japan will be hard. In 1939, clays collected from battlefields in Nanking and Shanghai was brought back to Japan. Then a ceramic statue of Bodhisattva was built in Atami, Japan, to comfort the souls of war dead of the two countries, using mixed clays collected in China and Japan. That is the statue of Kannon. Under the face of Kannon, the war dead should be treated equally, friend or foe alike. Small, limited existence is the nature of humans, but the righteous wind of divinity is blowing over Japan, the country of God, and the power of peace from Bodhisattva of mercy prevails brightly all over Asia.